Tonight, big spender, the Treasurer's building plans to send the budget into debt.
Our economy's going well, we want to keep it going well. We will wear some net debt.
Also tonight, police in Indonesia arrest more than 200 people after a night of violent protests. Anthony Albanese in the home straight for Labor's one-horse leadership race. And a population shift to Hobart creates a skill shortage in Launceston.
Anywhere where there's competition nationally for those skills, we're really struggling.
Good evening, Guy Stayner with ABC News. Tasmania's Treasurer has handed down his sixth budget, delivering a modest surplus, but plunging the state into net debt for the first time in 15 years. Peter Gutwin is unapologetic about spending big on infrastructure. However, most of the money, more than half of the $6.3 billion total budget, will go on education and health. Critics say that won't be enough to ease the state's health crisis. State political reporter Rihanna Whitson begins our coverage.
Breast cancer survivor Emma Ackerley had a double mastectomy 3 years ago. She's been waiting for reconstructive surgery ever since. $75 million to ease pressure on emergency departments, $5 million extra for Ambulance Tasmania, $2 million to reduce the waiting list for women's elective surgeries, and money to start stage 2 of the Royal Hobart Hospital redevelopment.
Now to some other budget highlights, and there's funding for a new Supreme Court judge and an extra magistrate. The Special Operations Group will become a full-time unit. Legal aid gets money to offset a cut from the Commonwealth, and there's an extra $16 million to cope with the increasing number of prisoners. In education, there's almost $3 million for TAFE to address workforce shortages and $8 million for free preschool for 3-year-olds from disadvantaged or vulnerable families. Tourism gets $20 million for a new loan scheme to support developing vineyards, distilleries and breweries in regional areas. There's $80 million for visitor facilities and a cableway at Cradle Mountain. And there's $16 million to prop up the West Coast Wilderness Railway. As we've touched on, this year's big infrastructure spend is a major reason the state is going into debt. The Treasurer says he's sandbagging the economy in light of difficult conditions ahead. State political reporter McCulloch explains.
This paperback may not be a bestseller, but the Treasurer thinks it's the best plan for Tasmania's economic future.
The Treasurer will begin his statewide sell of the budget tomorrow. Ellen Coulter has left her stack of books in the budget lock-up and joins us from State Parliament. Ellen, are there risks for the government in focusing on infrastructure when health and housing have been dominating the headlines?
Well, Guy, it's no surprise that the government's focused on infrastructure today. The Treasurer was keen to point out in the lead up to today that this would be an unashamedly infrastructure budget. Savings measures means one thing: job cuts.
Ellen Coulter reporting there from State Parliament. To the day's other news, and Indonesia remains on edge tonight after violence again erupted on the streets of Jakarta in protests against President Joko Widodo's election win. At least 10,000 people were involved in a second night of unrest, with 250 people arrested. Indonesia correspondent David Lipson reports.
For a second night, Indonesia's capital besieged by violence. David Lipson, ABC News, Jakarta.
Nominations only opened this morning, but it's shaping as a one-horse race for the Labor leadership. While Anthony Albanese is preparing to replace Bill Shorten, it was back to business for the Prime Minister in Canberra. Here's political reporter Jane Norman.
Back in the capital for the first time as the Prime Minister the people chose. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
A major Tasmanian wine and cider maker has gone into voluntary administration. Winemaking Tasmania supplies winemaking, bottling and production services to more than 30 boutique vineyards and orchard owners. That's almost a quarter of the state's wine brands. The administrators say the business encountered significant cash flow issues. A Tasmanian company is said to become the first in Australia to export a specific type of medicinal cannabis to Europe. Tasmanian Botanics has received final approvals to grow, process and export the highly regulated product. The company will plant its first crop of medical marijuana at a secret location next week. It plans to build 4 greenhouses, each one about half the size of the MCG.
Currently we're looking at about 8 tonnes a year under our current model. And if we go to our full production with that many greenhouses, we would be employing 150, 200 people.
Now to the second story in our population series, looking at the difference between Launceston and Hobart. Tasmania's population has been growing in recent years, but the bulk of the state's new residents are settling in Hobart. More than 3,000 people moved to the capital last year, leaving the north crying out for working-age people. Laura Beavis reports.
Jenny King spends her days caring for patients at Tasmania's largest public hospital.
Still to come on ABC News, another injury blow for the Bombers. And will a bouncer floor Usman Khawaja? Actor Geoffrey Rush will be awarded a payout of nearly $2.9 million after winning his defamation case against the Daily Telegraph. The Oscar winner had already been awarded $850,000 in damages over stories alleging he behaved inappropriately to actress Erin Jean Norville. The local share market went backwards today, ending a 6-day winning streak. Here's Alan Kohler.
Well, the share market fell today because there was some selling of banks and miners, but there are also a couple of minor prangs. Online retailer Kohler dropped 6.5% because the ACCC launched legal action against the company for misleading customers by quietly raising prices before offering a 10% discount. And that's finance.
Essendon forward Joe Danaher is set to miss the rest of the AFL season because of a chronic groin injury. The 25-year-old has been affected by the injury for 2 seasons. The club believes he may now need surgery to manage his long-term fitness. Danaher has played just 4 games this season, including a 4-goal performance on Anzac Day.
The last couple of games he's felt a little bit of soreness, lost a bit of power, and so as a result of that we're in the situation we are now.
It's been hailed as Australia's greatest men's basketball squad. The Boomers have selected 9 NBA players for September's World Cup in China.
Ben Simmons looms large in Australia's World Cup campaign.
He can have the ball as much as he wants.
Yeah, I'm going to hand it off to you. No, I'm not. Sneaky.
It will be the first time the Philadelphia 76ers star has featured for the Boomers at a major tournament.
Tonight's weather photo of sunrise at Margate is from Sandra Rollins. Here's Simon McCulloch.
Good evening. A northwesterly flow today brought some cloud and light showers to parts of the north and west, but fine conditions elsewhere, a build-up of high-level cloud this afternoon. Despite that, maximum temperatures were above average today. The state's high of 19, a popular figure at Dunalley, Grove and Bushy Park in the south, also at friendly beaches on the east coast and on Flinders Island. Overnight temperatures tend to be below average across the north and a little above average in the southern half of the state, down to -3 at Fingal in the northeast. Hobart's range 11 to 18, Launceston 4 to 16 and 15 the top for Burnie and Devonport. Rainfall tonight AM, just some light falls in the west, 5 at Strathgordon and a couple of millimetres at Mount Reid, 1 at Strawn. Satellite sequence, you can see the frontal cloud band that's been slowly approaching today. Some high-level cloud ahead of that moved over the state. There's actually several bands further to the west that'll approach over the weekend and a bit of an onshore flow producing some showers into Queensland. On the chart, and that front is very slow moving, actually will probably weaken into a trough as it moves through tomorrow. Some showers in the north and west will eventually extend to most districts during the day, not much getting through to the east. This feature front and troughed across during Saturday with some showers in the north and west and possible showers elsewhere. And just emerging down in this area here, this change here will cross during Sunday, bringing a much colder change, some showers statewide and cold enough for some snow about the Highlands by the end of the day on Sunday. Possible light showers for Perth, a morning shower or two for Adelaide, showers in Melbourne and fine for the other capitals. Tasmania's forecast some showers in the north and west, just trying to extend to most districts during the course of the afternoon. Not much, as I mentioned, getting through to the east and southeast. Some showers for Strawn tomorrow. Showers for Burnie and Devonport, 16 and 17 respectively. Showers developing for Launceston, 9 to 16. A shower or two to develop on the east coast for St Helens and Swansea, and a shower or two developing for Hobart, a range of 6 to 19. Sunrise is at 7:23. Coastal waters, northwesterly winds of 15 to 25 knots, up to 30 knots about the south and west early morning, and then reaching 30 knots again late in the day in the west, north and east. Southwest swell to 4 to 5 metres in the west and south, a westerly swell to 1.5 metres in Bass Strait, a southerly swell 1 to 2 metres in the east. There's a strong wind warning for all coastal waters except for the lower east and southeast. On Saturday, a front to cross with some showers in the north and west and possible showers elsewhere. Showers for Burnie, Devonport and Launceston, but a fine, partly cloudy day expected in Hobart. On Sunday, a more significant front to cross, bringing a colder change. Showers in the north and west, extending statewide during the day and mostly clearing the east coast in the evening. Snowfalls to about 700 metres in the west. Showers expected for Burnie, Devonport and Launceston, a shower or two, and just 13 for Hobart. That's tonight's weather. Here's Guy.
Keep the brollies handy. Don't forget our Tasmania Now blog from 6:30 tomorrow morning on ABC Digital and mobile. See you Monday.